Hello viewers, this morning I want us to do or to go through this paper. This was a KCSE paper done in the year 2021 and it's mathematics paper 1, the code 121/1. So I will take you from number 1 to number 7 and I believe we are going to understand on how we approach some of these questions. So we have question number 1. Without using mathematical tables or a calculator, evaluate. So in that question, I want us to evaluate without using mathematical tables or a calculator. And how do we approach such a question? So we are going to take we will begin with the numerator. And our numerator is equal to -3. We will write it into bracket 6 plus -2, close the bracket, minus 12, divide by 4 plus 5. So we will apply the rule of BODMAS to solve the numerator. We have a bracket here. So 6 plus -2, that will give us positive 4. So we will have -3 into brackets 4 minus -12 is equal to plus 12 divide by 4 plus 5. So having that, the next rule of BODMAS, we can open this bracket with 4 and have -12, and that will definitely give us -12 plus 12 divided by 4 plus 5. So when we now apply the rule of BODMAS, we have division here. Remember, BODMAS is BODMAS, bracket of division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. So we apply division and we have -12 plus 12 divided by 4 is equal to 3, then plus 5. And by solving that, we are going to get -12 plus 3 is equal to -9. -9 plus 5 will give us -4. By having -4, we have already determined the numerator. We now go to the denominator. And in our denominator part, we are going to rewrite it -4 multiplied by -6 plus -3 times 5. Using the rule of BODMAS, -4 times -6, this is a multiplication sign. We will start by multiplying, and a negative number times a negative number definitely gives us a positive number. So we will get 24 plus -3 times 5. We still have another multiplication, that is -3 times 5. A negative multiplier by a positive gives us a negative number. So we will have 24 plus -3 times 5 will give us -15. A plus and a minus gives us a minus. So we are going to have 24 minus 15 will give us a 9. Therefore, our answer is going to be equal to -4/9. And by doing that, we have already determined the first question. Let's now embark on our second question. Our second question reads, express 5.5 recurring as a mixed number. So this is a recurring decimal, and we are supposed to convert it into a mixed number. So we can come here and say that let 5 being recurring, that means 5 is being repeated. It is being repeated on the multiplier side, and we are going to have, we can say let 5.55555, remember it's recurring, we can give it and say let it be letter n. Let it be letter n. So having it as letter n, then we can now go to the next level and multiply n with 10 and say 10n is equal to, we work this one out. When we multiply by 10, it's going to be 55.55555 recurring. So having that, we all see that the numbers that are recurring are all 5. So we can therefore take the second, subtract the first one. And when we subtract, we are going to have 10n is equal to 55.5555 recurring minus n, which is equal to 5.5555 recurring. And when we subtract the two equations, we are going to get 9n is equal to 50. Then we divide both sides by 9. We divide both sides by 9, and we get our n as 50 over 9. This is an improper fraction, and we are supposed to write it as a mixed number. So as a mixed number, that will be equal to 5 whole number 5 over 9. And by doing that, we are done with question number 2. Let's now embark on question number 3. Without using a calculator or a mathematical table, evaluate. So we have a fraction here. We have this is indices. We have 49 to power 3 over 2 times 256 to over 2401 to power 3 over 4. So we can rewrite our question 49 to power 3 over 2 multiplied by 256 over 2401 into brackets placed to power 3 over 4. So for us to simplify such a question, this 49 can be simplified or can be factorized to the product of its factors, and it's going to give you 7 to power 2, 3 over 2, then multiplied by this one. We can factorize it using the factor tree method, and we are going to get 4 over 7 to power 4 raised to power 3 over 4. So by doing that, we are going to get, we simplify by 2 1 by 2 1, and we will be left with 7 cubed multiplied by 4 1 by 4 1, we will be left with 4 over 7 cubic. 4 over 7 cubic. And by having that one, that implies that remember the law of indices states that a over b to power m is the same as a to power m over b to power m. So that means that 4 over 7 cubed is the same as 4 to power 3 over 7 to power 3. So that simply implies that 7 to power 3 multiplied by 4 to power 3 over 7 to power 3. So this one will simplify out. Therefore, we will be left with 4 to power 3 is equal to 64. Is equal to 64. That will give us 64. We are done with number 3. We are going to continue, and we will do number 4. Question number 4 reads, a rectangular floor of a room measures 5.4 meters long and 4.2 meters wide. The room is to be covered with square tiles. Calculate the minimum number of square tiles that can be used to cover the floor. So calculate the minimum number, the least. This question we are being asked on the least number of tiles that can be used to cover the floor. So what are we going to do in this question? We are going to find the so in question number 4, we are supposed to calculate the minimum number of tiles that can be used to cover the floor. So we are going to find the LCM. of 5.4 and 4.2. We can convert the two in centimeters. And when we convert the two in centimeters, 5.4 will be equivalent to 540 centimeters, and the other width will be equal to 420 centimeters. So we can find the LCM 540 and 420. We can start with the list is 2 by 2. This one is going to give us 270. This one will give us 210 by 2. This one will give us 135 by 2. This one will give us 105. Then we can go to the next one. We can go by 5. By 5, 135 divided by 5 will give us 27. And 105 divided by 5 will give us 2 and 1. So then we can divide by 7. By 7, this one will give us, this will remain 37 and this will be 3. Then we can go by 3. That will be 9 and that will be 1. And the last but not the least, 9 and 1. So our LCM will be equal to 4 times 5 times 7 times 3 times 9. That will give us 3,780. 3,780. By doing that, we can now proceed to the next question. Simplify 2x squared minus xy minus 6y squared over x squared minus 4xy plus 4y squared. So we are going to start this one. We will start with the numerator. And the numerator, we will first rewrite the numerator. Our numerator is 2x squared minus xy minus 6y squared. So this one we solve using quadratic factorization, and we have the product. The product is 2 times negative 6 will give us negative 12. Then we have the sum. The sum will be equal to negative 1. So we need to get two numbers in which if we multiply the two numbers, they will give us negative 12. If we add them, they will give us negative 1. And the two numbers will be negative 4 and 3. Negative 4 and 3. And when we have the 2, we can now continue. We have 2x squared minus, we replace b with the factors. So it will be minus 4xy plus 3xy, then minus 6y squared. So we can now proceed to factorizing. We can proceed to factorization. And how do we factorize? We were, and now we factorize. So we factorize these two. So the common factor is 2x into bracket. We'll be left with x minus 2y. Then the second one will be plus 3y into bracket. We have x minus 2y. So having that, we conclude that our numerator is 2x plus 3y, close the bracket, x minus 2y. So when the brackets are identical, we choose one. So we have taken one over them, then the one in the outside of the bracket. So we are done with the numerator. We now go to the denominator. The same we have done in the numerator, we do in the denominator. X squared minus 4xy plus 4y squared. So if we can check this keenly, this is a perfect square. This is a perfect square. this is a perfect square. And this being a perfect square, we know it's a perfect square by checking the first and the last one. So the first is a perfect square. So for us to simplify this one, we are going to take the square root of x squared, that is x. Then it's minus. Then we take the square root of 4y squared. The square root of 4 is 2. The square root of y squared is y. Then it repeats itself, x minus 2y. We're already done with the denominator. So there you have 2 marks. We now then simplify the numerator and the denominator. And when we simplify the numerator and the denominator, we are going to have 2x plus 3y, x minus 2y over x minus 2y, x minus 2y. So this one and this one are identical. We can cancel them out. They simplify themselves. Then we are left with 2x plus 3y over x minus 2y. By doing that, we are done. We are done with question number 5. You score your 3 marks. Then let's proceed to question number 6. Question number 6 reads, the line 2y plus x is equal to 1 is perpendicular to a line L. Line L passes through 2, negative 1. Determine the equation of L in the form y is equal to mx plus c, where m and c are constants. So for us to approach that question, we are going to first write the equation of line, this first line, in form of y is equal to mx plus c, and that one is going to give us 2y plus x is equal to 1. So it's going to be 2y is equal to minus x plus 1. Then we divide both sides by 2, by 2, by 2, and we will get y is equal to negative a half x plus 1 over 2. So the gradient of the first line will be equal to negative 1 over 2. Remember, the gradient is the same as what we call m1. It can be negative 1 over 2. Then since we have been told the two lines are perpendicular to each other, we are going to determine the second gradient. And we know that when we multiply the gradients of perpendicular lines, that is m1 times m2, it gives us negative 1. So we are going to multiply m1 times m2, and when we multiply the 2, we are going to have negative a half m2 is equal to negative 1. And when we cross multiply, we are going to get our m2 s2. We get our m2 s2. This m2, which is 2, is the gradient of line L that passes through 2, 1. So having the coordinates s2, 1, and the gradient 2, negative 1, and the gradient s2, we can be able to determine the equation. So we are going to say the arbitrary points are x and y. So it will be y minus 1 will be y plus 1 over x minus 2 is equal to 2 over 1. When we cross multiply, we get y plus 1 is equal to 2 into bracket x minus 2, and that will give us y plus 1 is equal to 2x minus 4. By having that, we are going to have y is equal to 2x minus 4 minus 1, and y will be equal to 2x minus 5. So that is the equation of that line. By doing that, we are done. Let's do our last question. The sum of the interior angles of a regular polygon is 1260 degrees. Find the size of each exterior angle of the polygon. So how do we find the sum of the interior angles of a polygon? Find the sum of the interior angles of the polygon using this formula, n minus 2, 180 is equivalent to the sum, and our sum is 1260. So we are going to determine n, and n represents the number of sides. So 180 times n will give us 360. 180 times n will give us 180. N minus 180 times negative 2 will be minus 360 is equal to 1260 degrees. When we take 360 to the other side of the equal sign, we have 180n is equal to 1260 plus 360. We are going to have 1620, 1620 degrees. And for us to solve the number of sides, we divide by 180. We divide by 180. And when we divide, we are going to get n as 1620 divided by 180. We are going to have 9 sides. We are going to have 9 sides. So for us to find the size of each exterior angle, that one, we are going to use the formula n is equal to 360 over the size of the exterior angle. So we can say that E represents the size of the exterior angle. We already have our n is 9, and now we are going to substitute it here. I have 9 is equivalent to 360 over the size of the exterior angle. When we cross multiply, we are going to get 9 times E is 9E is equal to 360. We divide both sides by 9, and we are going to simplify and get our exterior angle is equivalent to 40 degrees. By doing that, we are done with question number 7. In our next lesson, I'm going to continue from question number 8. So that we can go through this paper of 2021, and I believe we are going to do well. So have a good day ahead. Be blessed as you keep on revising. Remember to subscribe in my YouTube channel. Also turn on the notification bell, and let the best come out of you. Thank you so much.